Hey everyone, welcome to Braveheart special presentation with one of our own, Scott Tucker, who is a extraordinary man in general, extraordinary Braveheart. He's an ex-military man, a financial guru, best-selling author, and very big into CrossFit too. CrossFit, other outdoor exercises. He's an international man of mystery. Where were you just at, Scott?
Most recently, I was in Thailand, Vietnam, and Cambodia. I mean, my most recent big trip.
Nice.
I also got lost in the Grand Canyon sometime after that, but that was fun too.
Nice. Well, you're going for the most interesting man in the world title. So.
Whoops.
All
happens by accident.
Right, but we're super excited to have you share some of the wisdom that you gained recently, and I'll let you jump into that. And if you want to introduce yourself anymore, feel free to.
Yeah, it just obviously got started in Braveheart almost a year ago, and really enjoyed being part of that community and realizing a lot of us are kind of in the same boat, starting our own businesses, in the consulting realm for the most part. And as I was figuring out how best to do it in my world, it's a little different with the financial consulting for military specifically. I came across this book writing opportunity, and I had never been someone who had ever thought about being an author. And so this concept intrigued me. I went through it. It worked. It's still an ongoing process, which I'll explain, but I thought I'd just kind of throw together a little bit of info for you guys, just to kind of show you what I did and how it's worked so far. And you can maybe think about how it might work for you. So wait, hold on. I got to share the screen. Sorry about that.
Yeah. It's all good. And Scott, are you going to talk a little bit about the benefits of having a best-selling book somewhere through this presentation, or?
No, who would want one of those? Yeah. We hit on a few points, and then I'm sure you'll have questions. So
okay,
just let me know, and I can expound on it. I just want to hit on some of the main stuff just to get your kind of juices flowing. And so here we go. Let me know if we're good.
Yep, I can see it.
All right. So to keep with the Braveheart branding, as always, you just want to, I call this become a Braveheart numero uno, right? we all want to be number one. Somebody just jumped in, I think.
Yep. I'll be muting them as they jump in.
Okay, gotcha. All right. So how do we use our hearts and be brave? Because writing a book is kind of a brave thing. You really start to put yourself out there. So I'm kind of serious about that, because you're going to write from your heart. This isn't, it seems gimmicky, and I'll admit that straightforward. But what is marketing? And this is really a marketing strategy, and when it comes down to it. But at the same time, you can maybe write that book that you've been wanting to had inside you. I think we all have something inside you, and just whether or not we're ready to get it out. I think this will help. For me, it helped me want to get it out. So I am already Amazon #1 bestseller. And kind of, that's the fact of the matter. And it all started kind of, I've been in this business for 8 years, but it wasn't until I moved back to the States, and started meeting all these fellow entrepreneurs. And I'd always heard I read 4-Hour Workweek. I knew what an entrepreneur was, but I never thought it would work in my business. And then I started seeing examples of it, and, it was overwhelming. Don't like using that word, but it's like, holy cow, I see this opportunity and I see where it fit for me perfectly, but how and when do I do it? So I start blogging, started websites, got on social media, and those are all like, set it, forget it, or don't want to do too much because you're self-conscious. And then I'm thinking, but I got to get into, all these other online courses. So starting to gain the courage to do that and having ideas for it. But then it's like so much. Which one do you do first? How are you going to get an audience and get people to even show up to it when you're approaching, business from a totally different way, at least for me. And so I did, typical for me, I get really into one thing. I analyze it a little too much. and start a project, but then something else will come up. I'm always chasing squirrels. Mike knows that. See the shiny object.
Squirrel.
Yeah, squirrel. And that's great because it keeps the idea juices flowing. But I needed a catalyst to kind of give me an aha, be like, oh, I see how this can give me some of the credibility that would allow me to do the other things and tie it all together. But in all this process, one of the reasons I didn't take action is because I think I was kind of asking, why me? Why somebody listen to me? Having that self-doubt type stuff. And so what's happened now is, here's the fucking why me. I'm now a #1 best-selling author. You know what I mean? It just makes you feel a little bit like, yeah, like someone out there is gonna listen to me, and just a way to pique their interest a little bit. And that's kind of the hardest part about marketing and selling is someone interested, or when are they going to be ready to talk? And so I can now say, hi, I'm Scott Tucker. I'm the best-selling author of Deployment to Dollars. If you hear somebody say that, it's, it makes you think, I'm interested in that. I've definitely bought books. I mean, I bought people because they had a book, or I hired people. My copywriter, for instance, he had a book. He handed it to me. I have yet to read it, but I went through a whole process with him, and he came up with some great, taglines and stuff for me. Mike, I think when I first visited your website, I saw you had written something, and
yeah,
like, oh yeah, guys, been an author. Now to say best-selling author is kind of cool. So, I'm the best-selling author, bitch. And here's the cover I have up. I put this together in 5 minutes, and used Fiverr.com. I came up. The key is, what is the purpose of this book, and I'll get into that in a second. So, what are we really trying to do? Are we trying to make money with having a book? And some people write a book because they want to sell the book and make money from the book. I'm telling you, that is not this strategy. We're not planning to make a dime of money from this book. By selling it on like Amazon or hard copies, or maybe you want to make money. You just want to share a message. But if you want to share your message, the better chance to sell it is being a bestseller. Having a very specific audience for this type of strategy. I niche down to I call them the military millennial, the younger military audience. I want to speak to them specifically and share stories around that. And so, they're going to connection and lead them back to want to talk and work with me or become part of my audience or my fan base. So think about that. Who are you talking to? And the goal for me, I have a number of contacts just from years of prospecting and business to business type relationships. But I knew I needed to build my email list or just audience from that military millennial group. And that I don't yet have a lot of. But now I'll have something from which to, one, have them want to listen to me, and two, give it away to them for an email address, for a reason to talk to them. Earning credibility within that marketplace, you become a kind of a subject matter expert, a go-to person. If they're looking for someone to talk on financial aspects of the military, I don't have the credentials like CFP or Certified Financial Planner. I wish I did, but where I was at in Germany, I just never got around to it when starting my business, and I found I don't need it. But I am still the military financial expert guy just because I have that background and I'm able to talk to them, and I talk to a specific audience with it. So they've contacted me to be on TV shows, podcasts, and other speaking engagements. It's a great way to get your foot in the door with someone you want a reason to talk to. You think you can help them out or connect with them in some way, but why are they going to talk to you? Walk up to them, hand them a signed copy of your new book you think they enjoy. Hey, chapter 5, I think you'd really appreciate. A little thing like that. Just have someone go, they might not even read anything, but now maybe they'll talk to you a little bit more. If you obviously have a message, you want this book to mean something, of course, and I do as well. And it's not the typical, save money, do a budget, save for retirement, message. Yes, that's part of it. But I want to speak to the young military specifically about finding their purpose or beyond the military and, having their finances organized gives them the freedom to do that. And that's, basically my message. But I can, I just did a chapter of my book this morning, and I'll talk about that in a minute, about traveling and how that all ties into that message. And so, also another thing in getting into this online program, people want to see, or this online system, people want to see, what it is you do specifically. And I was always I'm just a financial advisor. You come to me, I give you financial advice, and, I get paid based on how much money you have. And I always wanted to have more of a system type approach, but I didn't really need it. So I never got around to it. I'd think about it sometimes. But now I have a catalyst to tie, for instance, the chapters of my book could be to mirror the steps of my program. And it's just my consulting process, really. It's just about laying it out. But you can talk to someone in the book about how that would look and make them think about it for them, and then they want to talk to you about it.
And Scott, if I could hit on one of the points that you said right around like sharing your message.
Sure.
Like one of the things that commonly I hear stopping people from writing a book is, not having the like best idea yet, or like the book that's going to be the New York Times bestseller, right? Or
yeah,
their message isn't unique enough.
Right. And the number one thing is there's bullshit. Everybody has a unique message. I mean, that's you just got to stop and think of some stories, think about some things that impacted and changed you in your life, tell a story around it. You have a message. And when it comes to things like New York Times bestsellers and stuff, that's not the goal of this book. The goal of this strategy is to give you the influence from which you can build your audience and create that next bestseller. Because to become a number one New York Times bestseller takes so much. It's all, people spend hundreds of thousands of dollars of just start marketing. They don't make any money off the book just to get their number one bestseller. We can't do that. But you can be an Amazon bestseller because they're changing the system. It's like Uber. They're the new process. And so we can leverage that, now that it's early on in the process, for now. I mean, of course, things can always change. But right now, this is how the world's working. Does that answer?
Yeah. No, and I think that answers it perfectly. And you mentioned that I wrote a book earlier, and that was one of the first things you saw with me. And it was interesting because like immediately I was trying to get speaking engagements at universities, and I couldn't for months and months and months. And immediately when I had the book, doors opened, people started paying me to go in there. I was seen as an expert, everything.
Yeah, exactly. And I'll, and that's great to hear you say that. And imagine you had been, maybe the people that didn't answer, if you had said, I'm the best-selling author of,
right.
That opened a little bit more doors. And it's just, right. It's just how people react. Everybody knows they do it themselves.
Yeah, absolutely.
So this comes down to basically a 90-day system and, or a 90-day process, because, using the Amazon publishing system, and that's what we're going to do. It's all about Amazon Kindle publishing. You can do a pre-launch, and that's what I did. I did a pre-launch with, and they give you that 90-day time frame. If you don't publish the actual book within 90 days, then they have penalties and stuff along that. You can't do this again for a year or whatever. But now you have a timeline, or a deadline. How awesome is it to have a deadline when doing a project like this? You're going to accomplish the thing. If I have to speak, a month from today, I better write that speech and practice it. So for me, that was very helpful because I know I would just put things off. But using the pre-launch process, we can get you to bestseller status in like a day to 3 days. It's really quick and easy because there aren't that many steps to start the process. And then putting the content together is just, I'll talk about that in a minute. You getting the book, doing the book writing process, you have 90 days, and it really doesn't take that long because you're not going to be sitting in front of a computer, trying to type out pages, making everything look perfect the first time around, just because, hey, that's how we write. We don't just write a bunch of garble usually. So really, to get started, once you figure out your audience, what's your title, around your message, what's your title, and then focusing really good on a subtitle, a call to action type subtitle. How to do this, 7 steps for, 7 habits of highly effective people, the 4-hour work week, how to leave the 9 to 5, travel the world, whatever the rest of that subtitle is. And so you're really doing the call to action to get them to want to learn more about your process and stuff. Because, and then the next step in getting it started, and this is how we become a bestseller on Amazon rules. We just want to have that bestseller status on our book, like I have here. You have to be the bestseller in your category. Okay. And so you don't just pick any category. I didn't, pick how to breastfeed children or anything like that. But
is that your next book, Scott?
Hey, who knows? I mean, you can learn quickly. I mean, one of the best stories they tell in coaching us on this process was a guy who was traveling overseas, had no medical background whatsoever, but he had knee surgery or something like that, and went to Thailand to do it with the medical tourism industry. And through that, he realized there's no niche in that. There's no podcast. There's no books written about medical tourism. So he started a podcast and wrote a book and did this. And now he does speaking engagements all over the world on medical tourism. And he knew nothing about it before having gone through it himself. Yeah. So I picked my category is in the financial risk management. And that's exactly what I do. But for whatever reason, there aren't a whole lot of books in the risk management. Everybody's trying to get stocks and retirement planning and be in that category. Well, all the super, famous Dave Ramsey books are in that category. So you're never going to beat him out, but you can strategize to, become number one for a certain period of time, and get in bestseller status. And that's all we need to claim. So how do we do this in the 90 days? Well, you have it all in you a lot easier than you think, because it just seems hard to get it out a lot of time. But we can repurpose old content. You have probably a ton of stuff already written with your ideas, and just a matter of putting it together in a way that helps share your message. It can be, you can put together webinars, old recordings, old speeches, anything that's audio, just transcribe it, because that's kind of how we're going to do this anyways. Interviewing other experts. Your book doesn't have to be just you and your story. There's tons of books out there of kind of a content aggregator, bringing in all the experts, interviewing them on a couple different topics, putting together in one book. People love that kind of stuff, because then you become a kind of the authority on where to find the best info for particular things.
Right, and I see that with like Mixergy, the guy that does all the startup work, or for the spiritual people out there, The Secret. The guy that wrote that is now an expert on spirituality, just because he interviewed a bunch of people.
Yeah, absolutely. It's the same thing people do for online, conference type calls, where they just bring in someone else to do their webinar. They just bring it all together. Telling stories. I mean, you're trying to show people why they should work with you. So you probably have plenty of examples of stories from clients or your own personal stories where breakthroughs happened, and just need to capture that and tell how it impacts you or that particular client. People love that stuff. And basically, every chapter should start with the story. That's kind of the hook to keep them interested. But really, we want to answer the easiest way to come up with, what are we talking about? What's the message? How do we connect with our audience? Well, we want to know what they're interested in. What are their questions? What are their concerns? And so think about all the frequently asked questions you get around your audience and what is you do for them, and answer the questions. One or two questions could be an entire chapter. Okay. should ask questions. You know what people should be asking and they don't, and you just kind of want to, you bring it out of them in some way. So answer those as well. You can brainstorm 100 questions in an hour, and you really only need 20 or so questions to have enough content for a book. And we don't have to worry about making it perfect the first time around. We just want to get this out there, help you get your business going so that you can gain that leverage and credibility and build from there. We're looking to get things jump started. This is a great way to do it. And we can go back, because it's Amazon, we can make changes, upload, re-upload everything anytime. If you notice, the book cover I showed you on the front is my current book cover, but the one I did for my launch day is the one that was on that screenshot of the bestseller status. So we don't have to worry about making it perfect, and we don't need a ton of content. We want to write a meat and potatoes, get out all the fluff type book, because this is a call to action. We're not expecting people to read it. And anyways, the stats are showing that books 60 to 80 pages get read about 50 to 70% of the time. You get up to 120 pages, that drops down to less than 25% of the time. Anything over 200, less than 10% of the time. But people still buy the books. They like having the book. They like having makes them feel good. Just be like, I got that, that good help me book. And so, that's how people are going to be looking at you. You're shown by having a nice cover and the status and a good title and a message. You're going to get that credibility there. It's a bonus if they read it and use some of the call to actions inside, of course. But we're just trying to, manufacture celebrity in a way. So again, we don't want to sit down and it takes hours and hours to write. I'm not a good writer. I have it doesn't compel me to sit down and write every day. But I can talk a lot. I can get going on a particular subject, and I'll come up with it.
Scott, do you talk, do you record it and then have someone transcribe it?
Yeah.
Is that what you do?
That's the next tip here. What we're going to do is go to rev.com, download the Rev app. It is a free app on your iPhone. I'm pretty sure there's Android as well. And just hit record and talk into it. You can record an interview with somebody. Within the app, you only need about 8 to 15 minutes per chapter to have enough content. So I did a chapter this morning about, I was listening to a podcast, heard somebody mention something about travel. And obviously big traveler, it's a big part of my life. And I have a story around that, lots of stories. And I never wanted to dictate to military people that they should travel. That should be their passion. And I thought, well, maybe it shouldn't be their passion, but they definitely need to get out and travel and see the world and open their mind to different experiences if they want a chance to find out who they are later in life. And so I just, finished peeing and then hit record and started talking. And about 10 minutes later, I was done. I hit send to the transcribe thing. And within an hour, I have the transcription back. I got it back this morning already. And I have an entire chapter of content ready. Next step, I will send that off to an editor. There's lots of different places to hire editors. You guys probably know some. You can find them on Craigslist. It's summertime. How many teachers are, English PhDs are on a break for the summer and wouldn't mind, a little extra work. And they think it'd be awesome to put together a book because they love that crap. And you can do it right in Google Docs, where you can do it real time and work with the person, much like Eduardo and I did, help me write my speech. That was a great experience to kind of, work on it together. It helps you feel involved in the process, and you're going to have, thoughts along the way of, and someone to brainstorm with. And again, you can always add more later. If you have more more ideas, you want to add a whole other chapter, a whole other section, you can do version 2 of your book.
And so and to be clear, Scott, that's what you're doing for this book. So you've published it and you add more chapters in.
Right. I haven't even actually published the content book. I'm still putting the content together right now.
Okay. So you're
I have to have the book edited and in format and loaded by September 5th.
Okay. Got it.
For my launch. My 90 days gave me until mid September.
Clear. Okay. And then also, but once it's done, you can do version 2 and upload that and
Anytime. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. And you don't have to call it version 2 or whatever. You just go in and upload a new file for the current thing. If you want to do a re-release, that's another way. If you've already got a book written, this can work. Just re-release the book you already did. If you want to, change the title, change the subtitle to give it more of a call to action. But if you got a book that's a long book, break it down into a couple of different books.
I've got another question on target market. Do you cover it later on or? I'll say it.
No, we can do that.
Yeah. So the question is for the guys out there that say, I want to be an expert. Like I want to be a speaker. I want to be more known in my field. But I'm not sure exactly like what my target market is. I know I work with this general like group of people. But I'm not sure what exactly it is. What do you say to them?
I mean, I think is you know what you do, so just find the people that you like to be around the most, and or that you can connect with the easiest, or maybe in a unique way. It could be around a hobby. I mean, I could be doing this exact same thing and just do it for CrossFitters, and just focus it on that audience because I like to CrossFit. If you're in coaching and you go to you can work with a specific type of audience. I mean, maybe you coach lawyers, and that's your niche. Just because your dad was a lawyer, kind of understand the what the life was like, and realize the kind of the troubles they have, so you can connect with them. Be like, hey, I went through the life of the son of a lawyer. It sucked for these reasons, but here's how I dealt with it. Here's how I think you can help you and your family deal with it. Does that help?
Great. Sure, absolutely. And what I'm getting from it also is that there's like less significance with this strategy. So like it doesn't have to be your target market for all of eternity.
No, absolutely not. I mean, I kind of want to now write my next book, be more travel focused about finding purpose, and it doesn't have to be anything about. But if that was my first book, that's fine. I could still say, "Hi, I'm best-selling author of this," and that's a lot of times that's all you need just to get in front of somebody, and they might want to hear about travel around the military.
Guys, I'm hopping off, but I'll continue listening the rest of the call. So I have another meeting. But thank you for this, Scott. This is great.
All right, thanks, Jordan. All right. Okay, some of the ideas of how are we going to leverage getting this credibility, and if someone picks up the book and they're actually reading it, a lot of times they just skim it, but when they see a link to something else, get your free this, download this, or there's you have a free worksheet, or you can link to, you recommend another affiliate or another product or something that you work with, you have a joint venture or something with. Every chapter, based around that chapter, you do some sort of call to action to have them be engaged. Like I said earlier, I using it as your program, because this is books about the what. You want them to contact you on the how to do it, right? It's just like any sort of presentation where you have a service or something to offer at the end of it. So one strategy became an introduction to how to your 5-step process or whatever. And actually that's how I got into this book thing. I picked up the book, and the guy had written a book. Here's the 5 steps you need to become a bestseller, and intrigued me enough to be like, yeah, I want to do this. And I, want to work with them on exactly how, so I can, be good at it. Using Amazon, the other great thing about Amazon, it's so easy through Kindle to, sell your book and give it away relatively free. You can still have it as an ebook. It's all your property, so you can give it away on your website as an ebook. But from Amazon, yeah, you'll have it up there, and if somebody comes across it and buys it, you say you have the soft paperback for $5.99. It's great. You're not going to make we're not trying to make money from that. However, maybe you do have that speaking engagement, and you want an opportunity to sell or give away your book at that engagement, depending on what the audience is. And it's in a different, but it's in a different city. Just order the books yourself on Amazon for $5.99. You'll get the kickback. It's your you get your publishing fee back anyways. If you have Amazon Prime, it's free shipping, and you just ship it to the hotel you're going to.
Nice.
Getting your foot in the door with some that person of influence, whether you want to speak to their audience or you want to get them as a potential client. Send them the book, order it from Amazon, do the gift wrap, add a little note to it. It'll get past any gatekeepers, because what secretary is not going to give that CEO or executive a gift wrapped book? It's clearly a book, and they're going to open up. They're not going to read it, whatever. But now they recognize your face, name, whatever it is, and some credibility. Getting on media. Podcasters are always looking for guests. Just if you're looking to get on shows, to have a guest on that's a new best-selling author and someone who can share a coherent message that's put together, they're going to love having guests available to do that. And you can really get into your niche that way. So I want to get on all the military-specific podcasts once I have my launch, and I think it'll be pretty simple. Always having something to give away. You never know where you're at. If you got a couple books on you and you run into someone, you maybe don't have time to talk to them, or they're busy, but you want to get your foot in the door, sign the copy. Hey, I'd like you to see this. Again, read chapter 5. I really think you'd appreciate it. All right. So a big one everybody wants to do is, of course, consulting and speaking, because, again, we're not trying to make any money selling the book, but getting speaking gigs that you're paid for, that'd be great. But the easiest way, the fastest way, if you want to make some money right now, is get a new client. Do some consulting. If you're in a coaching business, you just need someone to pay you by the hour. You just need a new client. You can do that today. Is it going to be easier to hand them a book and say, "Hey, I think you should work with me"? Being positioned in the niche of being the go-to guy, you're just going to be front and center of everybody's mind. So it'll be a lot easier to have people think of you for referrals. If it's hard, I'm the worst at it. I don't charge upfront rates for my clients because I've always been told that military people aren't going to pay, and I realize that's not the case. And it's hard to choose what I'm worth and to really charge what I'm worth. And I think a lot of people underprice themselves just because they think they're not going to get. Nobody's gonna pay it, and this just gives you a little bit more of some credibility to charge what you're worth. And another strategy to get on, to get in front of an audience is call up who you want to speak with, and tell them, hey, I'm Scott. I'm the best-selling author of Deployments of Dollars. I'm doing a book tour in your area, and as part of my book tour, I'm doing a speaking tour. Would you like me to? I was wondering if you'd like me to speak in front of your audience. And kind of like Mike was saying, a chance of getting in front of an audience just by saying, "Hey, I have a book now." That's gonna increase greatly.
It dramatically changes the outcome.
Yeah. And really, we're not, using these speaking engagements to pitch services or to sell at the end. You want to try to, if you're linking it in with the book, make it about, your message in the book. And then, by giving away the book at the event, if you get permission to engage with the audience, you can just say, "Hey, I'd like to send you a free digital copy of the book. Just give me your email." You can still give them the hard copy. People like to have both. Either way, it's a way to connect with your audience without having to sell to them right there. But you can still do that. All right, so really, if you want to do this, the main things are you just get one book done quickly. Start 90 days later, be a best-selling author, have a book, and then build from there. Leverage that to get into the media, get on podcasts, to gain that authority. Get those speaking engagements, build your list, build your super fans, and, promote your products and services. And it's really something anybody can do. I think we all have it in us if we're motivated to do what it is we're trying to build. If that's really our mission and passion, then you can easily have enough to create this and then use it to help you, spread that message and build your business. That's kind of, the main points I wanted to hit. I'm totally open to chatting with anybody in Bravehearts, one-on-one. I don't have a program around this specifically, but I would love to talk about helping out. There's a link there to my appointment calendar if you wanted to do something like that.
Yeah. Thanks so much, Scott.
Yeah. Any other questions?
Well, I was going to say one of the things that, we're big on in Braveheart is support. It's actually getting supported and being supported by other people. And there's something that you have broken through what I would relate to as a lot of resistance, a lot of fear, a lot of stories that people have that blocks them from actually putting their message out there. And one of the things I think of is like, no matter how, like somebody can tell me the value of gratitude every single day, and it's going to be valuable to me. And different people will share that message in a different way, and it will hit me in a different way. I will hear it in a different way. So everyone has a valuable message to share with the world. Mm-hmm. And I think you're doing a really amazing thing with helping guys to get that out there.
Yeah. And I think one of the, and I attribute Braveheart to helping me become bestseller, because I think you guys noticed one of the things I did was say, hey, everybody, I'm writing a book. Really appreciate your support. And what better community to be a part of right now than Braveheart to help you, support each other. One, to break out of that shell and have the confidence to do it. But then we can now support each other in helping promote our books and our messages amongst stuff, and having a tool like, yeah, I know what Eduardo does, but I don't know who to talk to him about. But geez, when I hand somebody his book, it's just an easy way to introduce people without having too much commitment. They can make their own decisions.
Absolutely. Great point. So everyone in the community will have a book soon. That's what I would love to see.
Hey, that would be really cool.
It would be. Well, thanks again, Scott, so much. Guys saw your address to get an appointment with you, talk with you, and if anyone out there wants that support, please reach out.
Yeah, absolutely.
So and guys that are listening in too, if you want to visit the website, it's wearebravehearts.com. And you can see everything about the retreats, the different things we offer, the community, coaching, and we'll have more of these talks to come. So thanks for joining.